So this is our next bit. These are the top 5 non-comic book movies. We wanted to go. I like doing these bits. I love doing these bits.
Me too. These are my favorite little bits.
We do a little bit at the end of our podcast after we pick our next movie. This week's bit is going to be top 5 non-comic book movies. So let's go ahead and just get into it. Top 5 non-comic book movies. Honorable mentions. We wanted to go. Obviously, this is about like movies that are basically comic books to movies that are based on comic books but are not based on comic books but feel like comic books. These are our honorable mentions. We have Darkman, directed by Sam Raimi. Love Darkman, starring Liam Neeson. I wanted it in the list, but this is actually a list me and Lincoln made together where we tried to come together and come to some kind of consensus. So I had to unfortunately move Darkman to the honorable mentions list. We have RoboCop. RoboCop is basically your origin story for any kind of superhero, but a lot more darker, a lot more violent. Love RoboCop. We'll get to RoboCop someday and Action Jackoffs. Then we have Megamind. Megamind is basically your story of superheroes, supervillains, subverting expectations on both, and it's a really fun time. Love Megamind. So that's the honorable mentions. Up next, we have number 5, Chronicle.
What a stylized movie.
Yeah, what a stylized movie with its found footage theme. We both really liked Chronicle. We put it at number 5 because even though it's about superpower teens, we felt that it wasn't comic booky enough to really fit into the theme of comic book movies. It's there, it's enough to make the list, but it's not there enough to place higher. I actually had Chronicle, for my personal list, I had Chronicle as an honorable mention, and I had something else in its place, but the list,
it was Darkman.
It was Darkman. But the list
he's a little salty. If you haven't noticed, he brought it up 2 times now.
The list changed all around, but Chronicle's on here. Chronicle's great. I love Chronicle. Love basically the origin story for a supervillain motif that's got throughout. Love that aspect about it. That is Chronicle. Number 4, Hancock.
What a movie.
What a great movie. For the first half.
For the first half.
It's no secret at this point, Hancock is a pretty solid script idea for the first half of the movie. The second half of the movie kind of goes off the rails a little bit, kind of basically turns into a completely different movie versus what the original idea was. Hancock starts out really strong, very comic booky, not based on a comic book though. And yeah, we really enjoyed that idea. It places at number 4 above Chronicle because it's got such a strong first half of the movie, but doesn't place any higher because of its weaker second half of the movie. Not really going into spoilers there, but yeah, that's Hancock for you.
Incredible special effects and comedy though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Number 3, Unbreakable.
My personal favorite.
This one is really good too. This is actually my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie. I love Unbreakable.
Incredible camera work,
incredible cinematography, incredible acting. I think all the M. Night Shyamalan-esque traits really work well in this movie to create an unsettling atmosphere of uncertainty that fits well into the themes that they're trying to explore about powers, people's places in life, how comic books are basically this. It's a much stronger commentary on comic books and how they relate to our life than really anything else. And it's a great movie. So probably my favorite Bruce Willis movie too, outside of like Die Hard and Pulp Fiction. But anyway,
I agree.
That's Unbreakable. Number 2, Sky High.
Absolutely stellar.
Yeah, so these next 2 picks you could probably say are probably more influenced by nostalgia than anything else, but
and just popularity.
And just popularity. But yeah, I think Sky High is actually a really solid pick because one, it has the comic book feel. It's colorful. It's boisterous. It's fun. Um, but what,
It's kind of a satire, but also like really lighthearted.
exactly, it's kind of a satire. It's kind of lighthearted. It works as both a satire of superheroes, superhero tropes, and also works as a satire for high school, for the school setting, something that's very, very popular. And I think it works, especially if you're a kid and you grew up seeing this. This is a movie that really works to all of its strengths. And I think that's something that really holds up even now with a lot of its messages, a lot of its motifs. I love Sky High. Sky High is great.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Speaking
And
of incredible,
yes, speaking of incredible, we got number one, The Incredibles. No secret here. The Incredibles is easily one of the best movies that is just a superhero story in all forms, and brings itself to the life on the screen. Really, I mean, it's got great story, it's got great action, it's got a great family vibe, but it's also something not only kids can enjoy but adults can enjoy too. It's got everything you want to have when it comes to a movie like this,
and
and
it's personally where I think Pixar peaked.
it's a peak for sure. It's a peak for Pixar. I don't think they matched it whenever they did the sequel. Um, it's really hard to point to a point in time in their history where they ever really came close to getting as high as what they did with um, The Incredibles. And it's funny too because I think this movie, along with so like the director of this movie would go on to do Ratatouille. It was also the director of The Iron Giant, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, period. It's actually my favorite animated movie of all time.
It's pretty up there.
Um,
And he just had his finger on the pulse of what all of us wanted at that age, and it's incredible.
exactly. That's exactly
And
what
it's
I
the
was
only
getting
word
at.
you have to describe it.
Yeah. The Incredibles is just great. It works on all fronts. It works on all fronts.
Watched a billion times.
Watched it.
Think I still have the McDonald's toy.
Yeah, I still have somewhere. I still have the old like Incredibles phone.
Oh, that's that's killer.
Yeah, like I used to like pick it up. It used to have like a rotary dial, and it would like the eye, like the dot on the eye would like light up whenever somebody was calling. It was great. Anyway, so that's going to be it for our top 5 non-comic book based comic book movies. Hopefully, I'll come up with a better title for that whenever I post this to YouTube. But that is going to be it